Have you ever said no to something that you later regretted and wish you had said yes to? In this video, I'm going to share two big things that I said no to that I later regretted, as well as share something that I said yes to that has proven to be one of the very best decisions I have ever made. Hello, my name is Lynn Spencer. I'm a Christian author, husband, father, and grandfather. I'm an entrepreneur, a successful business executive, and I lead a nationwide team of independent agents. But most of all, I genuinely want you to experience the love of Jesus Christ and have the success he has given to me. Are you naturally skeptical? In today's world, a healthy skepticism is usually a good thing. But have you ever wondered if you are missing out on something great simply because at first glance it appears to be too good to be true? Let me give you a couple of examples. Back in the early 80s, a guy approached me about a new breakthrough technology that would allow people to carry a portable phone with them wherever they went, in the car, while they travel. He showed me this big, heavy, boxy contraption with wires and an antenna and said, "This is a cell phone, and before long, everyone will have one. Would you be interested in partnering with me?" Well, instead of recognizing that what he was showing me had any merit, I quickly dismissed it as one of the dumbest things I had ever seen. Who in the world is going to want to carry this big, heavy, boxy contraption around with them everywhere they go? That's ridiculous, I thought. I've often wondered, where would I be today if I had just been open to his invitation and had taken the time to actually listen and learn instead of quickly dismissing him? A second example was around 2009 to 2010, when my son approached me with an opportunity to buy into something he felt could potentially turn into something really big. Once again, I simply dismissed it as being a crazy idea. Back then, Bitcoin had just come out and was priced at pennies on the dollar. When my son really started to encourage me to get in on it, it had already gone up to about $25 per coin. "No," I said, "it's just not for me." Think about that. I could have easily purchased thousands of dollars of Bitcoin that would now be worth millions of dollars. But again, instead of being open to what was right in front of me, I chose to say no. Over the past 2 decades, I have actively been telling everyone I know about an opportunity that could be every bit as big as cell phones and Bitcoin combined. And yet very few people have listened. In the past 2 decades, while many of the people I know were easily dismissing this opportunity, it has now grown into a multi-billion-dollar company, program, and opportunity. And yet, even today, many people still dismiss it as being too good to be true, just like I dismissed cell phones and Bitcoin when they first became available. That is a costly mistake. And here's the crazy part. This multi-billion-dollar company, program, and opportunity, because of constantly improving technology, is now poised to potentially become a trillion-dollar category creator, a true industry disruptor. It's growing super fast. Not only does this company and program now have over 10 billion under management, that number is exploding by as much as $50 million per month. Think about that. Does that sound like something that is too good to be true to you? And if you think those numbers are big, wait till you see where this company is heading. And yet, many people I talk to still seem skeptical, still believing that this is somehow too good to be true, even though tens of thousands of others have already proven it is not too good to be true. Here's what I've come to learn about skepticism. Oftentimes, people will mask other things that are really the root cause with skepticism. Maybe it's fear. Perhaps they have been burned before, so they're super cautious. And that's okay to a point. There's nothing wrong with being cautious until your caution prevents you from taking advantage of something that could literally be life-changing for you and your family. Maybe they just don't yet fully understand what I'm trying to convey. But instead of asking more questions and getting to the point of completely understanding, it's easier to simply dismiss something, right? Well, it may seem right at the time, but it's really the wrong thing to do. The right thing to do is to investigate further until you fully understand everything. Let me just say this. If you knew, and I mean absolutely knew, that something could potentially put thousands of dollars in your pocket every single month, and it took very little time to do it, how long would you really want to procrastinate getting started? So, what is this opportunity? What company and program am I talking about? Well, before I share that with you, you need to understand something clearly. For decades, consumers like you and me have been getting ripped off in a big way. I'm talking tens and even hundreds of thousands of dollars per family. Yes, you and I have been ripped off in a big way for a long, long time. And yet, very few people are even aware of this massive ripoff that is literally hiding in plain sight. I remember years ago being in a very bad financial position, having to rob Peter to pay Paul each month, juggling credit cards, car payment, a mortgage payment, and dealing with all of this from a position of no income because of a job loss. It was enormously stressful. As I was sitting at my desk one day with a stack of bills in front of me, crying out in prayer to the Lord in total desperation, he suddenly spoke to me in an undeniable way. He said to me, Lynn, I want you to get a piece of paper and a pen, list out all of your monthly bills and debt payments, and mark the paper with 3 columns beside each one. In the first column, put the monthly payment of each debt. In the second column, put down how much of that monthly payment is going to interest. And in the third column, put down how much of the monthly payment is going to principal. Then add up each column at the bottom. So that's exactly what I did. I got out a piece of paper, split it into 3 columns, put monthly debt payment, how much is interest, and how much is going to principal. And then at the bottom, I totaled up how much I was paying, how much of those total payments was going to interest, and how much was going to principal. Well, as I did this, I was absolutely shocked to see that we were paying $1,833 per month in interest, and only $479 was actually going to principal. And even before I could say anything, the Lord asked me a very important question. He asked me, Lynn, what is all of that interest buying you? Well, nothing, I replied, to which he said, exactly. And that's when I realized that over 79% of my monthly debt payments was going straight to the bank for their profit. On the other hand, less than 21% was actually doing anything for me. Wow, that is horrible financial efficiency. Paying so much money in interest every month and getting nothing for it is exactly why I was in the stressed out financial position I was in. The same is probably true for you as well. What do your numbers look like? Just think about all of the money you have paid down in interest in your life and consider what you have to show for it. Nothing, right? Is the light bulb coming on yet? Just like me, have you too wasted a ton of money by simply being in debt? In my case, it was hundreds of thousands of dollars for years and years that had not been working for me or doing anything for my family. Frankly, it made me sick to my stomach to think about. Just by being ignorant about how money really works, I had lost a fortune. But that simple exercise woke me up. So I continued to pray, asking the Lord to please help us get out of the deep hole we were in. There's more to the story than this, which I will share in another video, but for time's sake, I'll get right to the point. Not too long after that experience and after praying, a friend of mine called me and said, Len, there's a company that has created a program that helps people rapidly pay off all of their debts, including their mortgage, without refinancing, without changing their current budget, and without changing their lifestyle. This company and this program can help the average family save tens and possibly hundreds of thousands of dollars in interest and help them become completely debt-free in a small fraction of the normal time. Are you interested in learning more? Needless to say, after missing out on the cell phone and Bitcoin opportunities this time, I was much more open-minded and eager to learn. So without hesitation, I said, absolutely, yes. So let me pause here for a moment and ask you, are you open? Are you genuinely interested and ready to learn more? If you said no, I'm sorry, but I can't help you. Go ahead and stop the video here. On the other hand, if you are open to learning more, keep watching. I promise this is some of the most valuable information you will ever learn. And best of all, I'm going to share this with you for free. Just imagine that your banker calls you up one day and says to you, I'm really sorry to have to tell you this, but you have been losing hundreds, in fact, sometimes thousands of dollars every month from your checking account. What? You angrily exclaim as you start to panic. Yes, I'm sorry to tell you this, but each month it looks like you have lost a lot of money. And unfortunately, you can't get it back. But there is a bit of good news. You can put a stop to this. Would you like to know how? Of course, you scream into the phone. Who has been ripping me off? And what do you mean I can't get any of it back? Well, unfortunately, the reason you can't get any of it back is because you authorized it, the banker says. What do you mean I authorized it? I have not authorized anyone to steal my money, you exclaim. Yes, unfortunately, you did. When you signed your loan agreements with your lenders, you authorized them to legally rip you off by overcharging thousands and thousands of dollars in interest that you were probably unaware you were paying. For example, I know you thought you were only paying 5% interest on your car loan, but it looks like they have been charging you close to 25% interest this year. It looks like you're paying about 100% interest on your mortgage. And looking at your credit cards, it looks like you're paying as much as 500% interest. You must have been aware of this because you signed the loan agreements and documents. What? You shout again as you really start to get angry? Friends, the truth is, your banker is never going to call you and have this conversation. Why would they? The banks are the ones who are ripping you off and making a huge profit. And they're very, very clever. They do it legally and lawfully by simply selling you on the APR. What is the APR? It stands for annual percentage rate. That's what they promote, and that's what you think you are paying. But the reality is you're paying what's known in the banking world as TIP, TIP, which stands for total interest percentage. They quote you APR, but charge you TIP. They put it on your loan disclosure, but did you read it? Let me give you some examples. Let's say you buy a $40,000 car at the advertised 5% APR, and you finance it over 72 months, 6 years. Did you know that it's not until the very last year of the loan that you actually pay about 5% interest? In year one, almost 24% of your payments goes to interest. In year two, it's around 20%. Year three, you're still paying about 16% in interest. Again, it's not until the very last year, year six, that you are actually paying around 5% interest. And if you think that's bad, most people, including most bankers, real estate agents, and even mortgage professionals, have no idea how financially toxic a normal 30-year mortgage can be. Let's say you get a $400,000 mortgage at 6% APR over 30 years. In year one, almost 83% of your mortgage payments goes towards interest. Only about 17% of your payments is actually going to principal. In year five, over 78% of your monthly payments goes to interest, while less than 12% actually goes to principal. And even in year 10, over 70% of your monthly payment is still going to interest, while less than 30% goes to principal. Again, it's not until the very last year, year 29, that you are actually paying around 6% interest. On a typical 30-year mortgage, you are actually buying a home for the bank as you pay off your own home. Following the bank's path, you will actually pay $463,354 in interest over the life of the mortgage. Remember, you only borrowed $400,000, and yet you'll pay $463,354 just in interest. That's on top of the principal you have to pay back. And over the 30-year life of the loan, it turns into 115.83% total interest percentage, or tip, that you're paying the bank. Don't believe me? Look at these real life examples. This is one of our clients. They borrowed $395,126 on a mortgage, and they thought it was 7.269% interest. Well, that's the APR. Look how much interest they're paying on that $395,000 over the life of the loan. $563,416 just in interest. Their annual percentage rate is 7.269, but look what it says right here. It says this is not your interest rate. Have you ever read that on your loan disclosure? This is not your interest rate. It's the APR. Well, if that's not the interest rate, what is? Again, it's the total interest percentage. What are you really paying over the life of the loan? Yeah, that tip, that total amount you're really paying in interest over the life of the loan, that's 130.58% in this example. Here's another example, a family that borrowed $355,876 on a mortgage, and you'll notice that their APR is 5.834%. But that's, again, the APR. They're going to pay back $390,984 just in interest on top of the principal for a total payback of $760,000. Again, friends, they are not just paying 5.83%. That's what they think they're paying. They're really paying 93.049% interest over the life of the loan. And maybe you refinanced during the pandemic and you're thinking, wow, I dodged that bullet. I got this 3.55% APR mortgage, right? You've got the world by the tail. Look how much total interest percentage this family is paying back over the life of the loan. 59.26% total interest. And you may think that you're paying 18 to 25% interest on your credit cards, but that's only if you pay off your balances in full within the same year you charge purchases on them. After that, the interest compounds in the bank's favor, not yours. Most people have no idea that by the time they actually pay off their credit cards, making the minimum monthly payments, it will actually take over 30 years. It's worse than a mortgage, and it will end up costing them anywhere from 200 to as much as 500% or more in interest. Oh, but you're earning rewards of 1% or 2% cash back, right? Are you starting to get the picture? Are you starting to understand just how much you have been ripped off? How soon would you like to stop losing massive amounts of money? There's a reason that Albert Einstein once famously said, compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. Those who understand it will earn interest, while those who don't are doomed to pay it. Remember that company and program the Lord directed me to when I was on a financial cliff and about to go over the edge? The same company and program that many people still to this day believe is too good to be true? They have now helped tens of thousands of families nationwide pay off over $2.7 billion of principal debt. In fact, they are on the cusp of a nationwide growth explosion. So, my question to you is, how much proof do you need that something is real and true before you stop being skeptical and decide to take advantage of it to create a much better future? And now, with the backing of an A-plus rated insurance company that's over 175 years old, we can help you become your own bank by building a secure interest-bearing account inside of a properly structured IUL program where you can actually earn interest while simultaneously paying off all of your debts, effectively using the same dollar twice. Did you hear me? Legally, morally, and ethically using the same dollar twice to earn interest while simultaneously wiping out all of your debts and canceling out huge amounts of interest you would otherwise pay the bank. That changes everything. This is why I'm telling you that this company, this opportunity, and this program, in my opinion, is becoming the next trillion-dollar company. By using strategic, mathematically based technology that guides each of our clients in real time every day to the most efficient use of every dollar going through their hands, canceling interest, earning interest, and taking advantage of the built-in financial strategies that most people don't even know exist. Everything changes for the better. Friends, you can continue being skeptical, losing tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars to the banks and lenders in interest, or you can stop the bleeding, be smart, and start building wealth. It's your hard-earned money, so be smart, choose wisely. Wisdom equals wealth. Skeptical equals losing out. You can still think it's too good to be true and consequently do nothing and most likely end up broke, or you can be smart, take action, and end up with a much more prosperous and secure, even wealthy financial future. What will you choose to do? But Lynn, how much is this going to cost me? Friend, if that's what's going through your mind right now, respectfully, you're asking the wrong question. Because the absolute most costly thing you can do by far is to do nothing and continue to pay your banks and lenders tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in interest. If you choose to do nothing and stay on your current path, you are literally choosing the most costly path possible, a path that has you giving your future wealth away to someone else. This program is proven. Remember, the company is now 19 years old. They now have over 10 billion under debt management. Thousands upon thousands of families are now completely debt-free. Tens of thousands more are using this proprietary program to rapidly eliminate their debt and build wealth. And the really smart ones are building their own bank, using the same dollar twice, building wealth and eliminating debt simultaneously. This is a rock-solid company you can trust. Clients have given this company a 4.9 out of 5-star rating on Trustpilot. Look up any other financial services company on Trustpilot.com, and you'll find that most of them are 1.3 to 1.6 star ratings. Our clients give us a 4.9 rating because the program works. It works brilliantly, and it changes lives. I already shared part of my story with you when I began this video. Now let me tell you the rest of my own personal story. By the time I was 46 years old, I had been bankrupt twice, was on the verge of my third bankruptcy, I had lost my job because the company I'd been working for had gone out of business, and I had maxed out all of my credit cards. I had a mortgage, obviously credit card debt, and a car loan totaling $330,000 of debt. After a lot of prayer and surrender and asking the Lord to please save me from going off that financial cliff again, through a friend of mine, he led me to and introduced me to the company, the program, and the system I have been telling you about. Even though at first I too was a bit skeptical, after even more prayer, I knew instinctively that this was something I needed to do. I knew that the Lord had answered my prayers and had led me to this very powerful solution. So, using most of what little credit I had left available on a home equity line of credit, I purchased the program and then started telling others about it as well. Not only were we able to avoid that third bankruptcy, but after just 18 months later, my wife and I were completely debt free, including our mortgage. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking that my story definitely sounds way too good to be true. Well, I would think so too, except that I lived it. I experienced it. And to this day, whenever I share my story, I give all praise, honor, and glory to Jesus Christ. For it was Him who rescued us using this company and this system to radically change our financial life. Now, listen. I am not guaranteeing or promising that you too will be completely debt free, including your mortgage, in just 18 months. Only God can do that. But what I am telling you is that this company and this program is the real solution. It is the only company I know of on the planet that is completely dedicated to putting 20, 50, up to 100 times more in your pocket than the program and system costs. Did you hear what I said? It's the only company I know of on the planet that is completely dedicated to putting 20, 50, up to 100 times more money in your pocket than the program and system costs. Do you know any other program that will do that? Friends, it is not uncommon at all for families to pay off all of their debts, including their mortgage, in as little as 5 to 7 years, without changing their current budget, without changing their lifestyle, without wrecking their credit, and without having to refinance. And it is not uncommon at all for families to use our system to go from renter to homeowner to real estate investor, all in a small fraction of the time it would normally take. Friends, there is a much better, faster, and smarter way to manage your finances. A proven way that leads to rapid debt elimination, freedom, and wealth creation. You don't have to be a genius to figure it all out. The system will guide you every step of the way and show you exactly what to do with the money that is already passing through your hands. Please click on the link below this video to visit my website. Learn more about what we do and how we do it. Watch the video at the top as well as the video about 3/4 of the way down. Then click on the Get the Book link at the top to get a free downloadable PDF of the book, Wealth Beyond Debt. Read it, and then schedule a free consultation with me by scrolling down to the bottom of my website and entering your information. Go ahead and click on that link below. I promise you, you will be glad you did. Once you see for yourself just how powerful the system is and how radically it can change your life in so many ways, you'll wonder why you were ever so skeptical in the first place. Friends, you can either remain skeptical and broke, or you can be smart, debt-free, and living the life you were meant to live. The choice is yours. Jesus Christ set us financially free through this company using this program and this system. I believe He will do the same for you. This is not so that you can become ridiculously wealthy or buy a bunch of worldly things that simply don't last or have any real value. No, my friend, this is so you too can enjoy your life more without all the stress, headaches, and worry that come with being broke all the time. This is so you too can be blessed abundantly and so that you can be a blessing to many others. I've put a list of scriptures here at the bottom that I would like to have you research, read, and pray about. And then, friends, let me help you. Let me help you live the life that God intended you to live, debt-free and with enough abundance in your life that you can help others do the same. Thank you for your time.